As I mentioned yesterday, we were taking a look at two Rascally type themes in Euro type games. Today we're looking at Glenn Drover's Extraordinary Adventures Pirates. Now that has got a colon in it, and I love the Glenn Drover Forbidden Games series because it's got that nice where you have the art from all three games sitting next to each other on the shelf between Raccoon, Tycoon, Railroad Rivals, and Pirates. This one definitely feels the most different of the three because it's a pirate game. Now, I don't know if the colon there means this is Extraordinary Adventures, this is Pirates, and there'll be, adventurers, explorers, astronauts coming, or if this is just the name of the game. That's a mystery that may or may not be retconned later, depending on what the answer is now. But let's take a look at what Extraordinary Adventures Pirates is, how it plays, what kind of a game it is, if it's your type of game or not right now. So, what exactly is Pirates all about? A whole lot of stuff in here. A lot of cards, a lot of tokens, a lot of cubes and things like that. However, everything is nicely, neatly put together to where it's not going to get all over the place, which is good. We'll talk about what these cards are in just a moment. But first, I wanted to show you the rest of these components. Everybody gets 4 ships of their color. These are nicely done. They look really great. 6 players, 6 colors. There are Pirates in player color as well. This is an advanced variant that I do recommend playing with. There are treasure tiles here. This is laid out based on player count plus. The tokens at the bottom are the cubes that you're going to have to trade in to buy these treasure tiles. Those tokens are right here. Those cubes are right here. Now look, Glenn Drover ain't playing around. There are cubes in this game. You know that. But these cubes look different than normal. These have plastic and they look like crates, so you can see actually the detail on them. So I like that a lot, actually. I mean, I'm fine with wood cubes. I do like wood cubes, but these do add that little extra element, and I do like that. These will be seated on the board based on, let's see if I can zoom in and actually show you one. See this number right here under one of these locations? That number means that this merchant ship has 2 cubes on it. You'll just randomly put cubes out based on every single one of those tiles or one of those spaces that has a cube number under it. Doesn't matter what color it is, you just randomly put those out. On your turn, you are going to get a deck of cards of your color. So if I'm purple, I'm going to get this deck here. You're going to shuffle them up. You're going to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At which point you are going to just play 3 of these cards. Now what you're doing, I'm not going to show you the whole board really, honestly, because it's so big that there's really no point to show you the entire massive board just because these spaces are very small because it's a racing game and you were trying to get to Trinidad with the most points. First person to Trinidad shuts the game down and you count points. Whoever has the most points wins the game. So in a sense, it's a race, but you can be first and still lose. There are numbers in the bottom right corner of all these cards. So this card is a number 1, this is a 2, this is a 3, this is a 2 and a 1. These cards can be played either for the number, or if they have a power, you can play them for the power listed here. So 1, I can move one of my ships 1 space. So boom, there's 1. 2, I can move another ship 2 spaces if I want to. It could be the same ship. And this one, you could play it for 3, or you can discard 1 card from your hand out of play. When you do that, you'd be taking one of these lubber cards that only moves you ahead 1 space, throwing it out of the game. It's a way to clean up the deck, clean up your deck. So you're going to play 3 cards. You're going to discard the other 2. You're going to draw back up. I'm sorry, you're not going to discard the other 2. You're going to play 3 cards, draw back up to 5. Turn goes to someone else, and you rinse and repeat till someone hits Trinidad. However, there are a couple hiccups. They're not hiccups, really. There are a couple interesting things on the way. When you land on one of these merchant spaces, you draw cards. You draw a card from the merchant deck. Now, these cards are going to look the same on the back. Some of them have merchants, and some of them have port symbols in the top left. These are the merchants. These are the ports. When you do this, when you go to a merchant ship, you take all the cubes that are there, you put them in your personal supply, you then also take the card off the top of the deck. These are just better cards that make your deck better, essentially. So it's deck buildery. The other option is when you land on one of these ports. You can do 3 things if you're playing with the variant, but if you're playing just the base game, you can do one of 2 things. Well, you really get to do both, but regardless. There's the other deck here of port cards. You will take one of these cards no matter what. You can also buy the treasure sitting on, well, it's not the treasure sitting on that tile, but it's one of the treasures laid at the top of the game board. So these are all things that give you victory points. 4 victory points for spinning these cubes. So you could spend a blue, a red, and a brown cube, get this for 4 points. If you have a pirate sitting on that space, When you buy the treasure there, you take that pirate, put it on top of that treasure. That treasure is now worth double points at the end of the game. So if you had a pirate sitting on the treasure of Santiago de Cuba, it would be worth 8 points instead of 4. You can also rescue pirates that just give you points that aren't, if you don't happen to have them on the treasure at the time. So it's a way you can, still get your points without having to go through the rigmarole of having to land on that exact space. Because you'll notice as the game gets towards the end, time gets tight. You feel like you need to get there and finish up what you're doing. Now there are a lot of little spaces, This will take a little while to get to where you need to go. So you're going to want these better cards to spruce up your deck. The merchant cards you draw from the top of the deck. The port cards, there is a track up at the top of 3 that you can choose from. When the game ends, you will also check and see who is the furthest. Let me see if I can get this up there to the top of that board over there. You can see who's the furthest on each track, the blue, the red, the black. In a 2-player game, furthest along gets 7 victory points. 3-player game, 4-player, you see it all the way up to 6. So what that means is whoever is the farthest on the blue track will gain a certain amount of victory points. Farthest on the red will gain a certain amount of victory points. Furthest on the black will gain a certain amount of victory points. Now, obviously, you can win and not be the furthest along to Trinidad. You can win and still have 2 of these done and get the 14 points if you're playing 2 players. And still win from second place on the actual map, if that makes any sense what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is, if you rush and end it, you may still not be the winner. But that's the game in a nutshell. You're going to play cards, you're going to discard, you're going to move up and hopefully be the first one to get to Trinidad and then shut down the game and hopefully be the one who has the most points at it. That is it. That's all there is to the game. A lot of these cards do some neat things. A lot of cool powers. Take a bonus crate from the bag when looting. That's a permanent power. The ones that have the deck of cards on it, that means you play it, it's permanent. Some of them have a symbol on top that means it's a one and done. So this ship captain or pirate captains take 1 crate from a player when you land on their ship. So a lot of different variety in just these cards alone, but that is how you play Extraordinary Adventures Pirates.
So that's it. That is Extraordinary Adventures Pirates. It plays in a nice race. Right now, a lot of comparisons going to come, in my opinion, to Flamme Rouge from Stronghold. The difference is this is a lot more straightforward of a race game and a deck builder at that. You're getting better cards to make your ships go faster and faster to hopefully get better treasure and get ahead on those tracks. So at its core, those are the mechanics. It is very simple. Let's talk about art for a minute here. I saw an article after I played and getting ready to do the review about how there's a Disney artist involved, and boy, you can tell. It is fantastic. The art from the front of the game to the sides of the game. I loved the art on Raccoon Tycoon and Railroad Rivals. I'm trying to think where Raccoon Tycoon's right here. I love the art in all 3 of these Forbidden games, and they all have their own unique feel. They all have their own flavor, which I'm a big fan of. Anytime each game comes out in it's not a series, it's weird for me to keep talking about it like that, but clearly the boxes look alike, the designer's the same and stuff like that, so it's nice to have this one really stand on its own legs with its own art, the beautiful, beautiful Disney looking art. And when you hear Disney Pirates, don't think Jack Sparrow, think more like Disney animation, Peter Pan, as it were. Really fantastic looking art in this game. It's a big, huge win for presentation alone because the plastic ships, the cubes are fantastic, being that they're actually resin cubes. The board is gorgeous. It is a huge board though. Like it's actually hard to see some of those spaces because they're a little bit small. The mechanics themselves are solid. They're sound. The idea of playing 3 cards out of your hand to potentially move your ships. You might just abandon one of the ships to be your garbage trail and then spend all your time going up on the blue track or the black track. That's an option. I like the options that you're running 3 races, not just 1, even though it technically is 1 big race. So at the end of the day, Extraordinary Adventures Pirates is a neat racing game with cards. Now, I do personally still like, and I know you're not supposed to compare it against a game that really doesn't have anything to do with it. I do personally like Raccoon Tycoon better as a game because I like that mechanical style better of economics game, but I do love a good pick up and deliver, and that's essentially what this is. It's a pick up and deliver linear, if that makes any sense. It's like a rail shooter in the 1990s, right? So it's like Time Crisis, pick up and deliver, if that makes any sense at all. But you're going in a straight line. However, the cubes you pick up here can be used here and all that sort of stuff. And I think that's pretty neat that you get those opportunities and options to do pick up and deliver, even though you're moving towards one goal. So this is a fun way into this genre. And I think Extraordinary Adventures Pirates is going to have some legs on it. Sea legs on it, as it were. You know I don't normally make puns like that, but it just happened, and I went with it, so let's all be happy together. I'm Brian Drake here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to check out more videos here on the Dice. There's a playlist below of all the 200-something videos we've done here on the Dice Tower. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and all such as that, at Dice Tower Brian. And until next time, we'll see you.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.